Hello everyone, we are here for another weekly emoji reading quiz session. This is Nyy'zai coach.
This is Xyy'nai and Enos.
Nyy'zai community.
Nyy'zai Starglow.
You guys, can you hear me?
No, you guys can hear me?
I hear you perfectly.
We hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so I can't hear you, but I'll go ahead and just say what I was going to say. Charlene's going to take you through a Nyy'zai versus Nyy'zai quiz, and the focus is going to be on the two distinctions that are most prominent, which is the difference between the Xy emoting of the Nyy'zai and the She emoting of the Nyy'zai, so the unaware versus the aware, and then the difference between how far the emotiveness goes up the face, the range of it. For the Nyy'zai, it's going to go up to just the brim line, which is above the midline, so they're values based, and then the Nyy'zai will not. You'll see that localized emoting, almost like there's an area of motion embedded in an area that does not move. Sometimes it looks like a little area of quicksand or an area of water surrounded by earth terrain, where that part is liquid and mobile in a noticeable different texture and level of tension as compared to the cheeks. With the Nyy'zai, it won't be like that. The kind of movement, this kind of fine movement you see around the mouth and lips area, it continues into the cheeks, that expansion. Whereas with the Nyy'zai, it doesn't. There can be quite a lot of mobility and large smile that goes more sideways than up in the mouth area. But in the cheeks, they're doing a different rhythm, so look for that. Okay, take it away, Charlene.
Coach, I have a question.
Go ahead.
No, so with the Nyy'zai, we know that it goes up to the to the brim line. But for the Nyy'zai, is it one of those things where it does extend, but it just extends so much horizontally?
Yes, it extends much more sideways than it does upward.
Yeah.
Right.
Just sharp hat.
Right.
And also, because of that, it'll make rather distinct cuts sometimes underneath the cheekbones. So they don't always have that. Some of the softer face Nyy'zai are more tricky that way, but in general, there's a trend there.
Right.
Okay, take it away.
Any other questions?
Oh yes, any questions?
Oh, okay. So we'll get into the quiz then. What we're going to do is run through a quiz of Nyy'zai versus Nyy'zai. So have it wide it out. I'm sure we're going to do round robin on that. Within the context that Coach just did. You guys see the screen share?
Yeah.
Well, cool. So I'll start off. She is Nyy'zai. I guess bonus if we get her name. I don't know.
No, this is just the mojo.
Just the mojo? Okay. So I'd say.
And we know the answer, so that's going to be too slow. So if it's wrong, I'll correct.
Okay.
But you should know I already correct.
Nyy'zai.
Nyy'zai.
Ooh. I'm gonna say Nyy'zai.
Said Nyy'zai.
Nyy'zai.
She is Nyy'zai.
Okay.
Vyy'xai.
Maybe we'll find out.
Nyy'zai.
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 Nyy'zai, but I wonder if has she been changed? Has she been purified to something else? Or she's still Nyy'zai?
Nyy'zai.
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 Nyy'zai, yeah.
See it there. Go sideways.
I'm having a little trouble hearing y'all. Is it my turn or are we waiting for Mitchell?
Yeah, it is your turn.
Okay, Nyy'zai.
Did Mitchell join us?
Looks like he's doing it.
Okay. We'll keep going as we are. Nyy'xai.
Nyy'zai.
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 Zai. Okay.
Nyy'zai.
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 Am I up?
Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Nyy'zai.
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 Well, now she's leaving.
Nyy'zai.
Nyy'zai.
Ooh, I'm gonna say Nyy'zai.
She's a Nyy'zai.
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 Nyy'zai cheeks, they plump up when they
Nyy'zai.
smile.
Can you guys hear Coach when he talks? Hey guys.
Yeah.
We don't understand you very well when you're speaking. That music is really bad.
Saying that there's feedback.
It might be good music to listen to, but it's hard to concentrate.
It sounds really distorted. Is what I mean.
Yeah, I can.
I have no idea if the music's good or not.
That was music?
I'm gonna try and speak now though.
Sounds like someone's playing
The
the
Nyy'zai, when they smile, their cheeks plump up more than the Nyy'zai do.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah. But the
Yeah.
Nyy'zai, they have more sheer looking kind of cheeks. More like
Yeah.
island. Oh.
Yeah, they're quite saying that they have like sheer cheeks.
More
Or
less archipelago. You know?
Like they have more movement in the cheeks, but
yeah, let's
a visual, like artistic would be that they plump up. It seems like for the Kaitlyn, they also plump. Nyy'zai don't.
yeah. You guys heard that?
I'm not understanding really when Coach speaks.
I heard him fine.
Okay. Where were we at?
I said Nyy'zai on that one.
Oh. Nyy'zai.
Nyy'zai.
Wait, can I participate or?
Mitchell. Yeah. So Mitchell
Oh,
is not
sorry
there
about
yet,
that.
right?
Yeah.
No,
And
it's
then you
fine.
guys
I'm
can
just
go on.
just like wondering like where I should fit in.
Yeah. Then yeah. Go
My bad. My bad.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
All right.
Your turn. Ben.
What?
I said that it's Ben's turn, right?
Yeah. It makes sense for it to be Ben's.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Oh, I said Nyy'zai.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Ooh, I'm gonna say Nyy'zai.
Melissa Marcel?
Yeah, she's actually
Nyy'zai.
She's
shy
Nyy'zai.
with a very Asian
Okay.
smile.
Yeah, she's a Nyy'zai. I'm not able to see anything right now, so you might need to speak.
Oh, okay. It's Sienna Miller, if you know the it off the
Oh, she's a Nyy'zai.
yeah.
She a Nyy'zai.
She's a Nyy'zai.
Okay.
Nicki Minaj.
Nyy'zai.
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 Nyy'xai.
Okay. Nyy'zai.
It's a Nyy'xai.
Nyy'zai. Okay.
Nyy'zai.
Nyy'zai.
Nyy'xai.
Nyy'zai.
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 It's a Nyy'xai.
Nyy'zai.
Nyy'zai. Okay.
Yeah, she said chisel features.
Nyy'zai.
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 Ben.
Oh, sorry. Nyy'xai.
Nyy'zai.
Nyy'zai.
Nyy'xai.
Nyy'zai.
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 Ben, you're up.
Oh, yeah. Nyy'zai.
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 Nyy'zai, actually.
Nyy'zai.
Nyy'xai.
Nyy'zai.
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 Nyy'xai.
Nyy'zai.
Not sure on this one. Is she Nyy'zai?
She's a Nyy'zai.
Cool.
Nyy'zai, Captain Zilla Jones.
Cool. Thank you.
She's married to Nyy'zai.
So let's go ahead and answer those questions when you get over to the Enos, and then go ahead and get the weekly quiz and hear the answers.
Okay, answer questions.
About,
Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
so tell them they'll know that you're changing over.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm about to change over to a Demas's machine for a bit while Coach takes care of a field approach here, and so we'll continue.
Okay.
I like that. This session. I haven't disconnected anything. I didn't disconnect it, did I? Are you talking? Yeah, I just did a collage. Collage? So the thing I did was I closed the collage and we're working on it. I believe so. Dun 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 dun.
All right.
Whatever you do, it's awesome data, so thank you. All right, so there's going to be 3 in here. There's going to be the Nyy'zai, they're the logic-based ones, and Nyy'zai.
It's just that it's being a little loud at the volume. We're doing a hangout right now, so yeah.
Frozen?
I'm here. I mean,
I think they just muted.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're
No.
frozen. I think they're just muted and on the screen.
Yeah, they got the infinite screen going on.
yeah. Pretty cool to look at.
The Inception background?
Yeah.
It sounds like they're in a different coffee shop today. If I'm
Actually, no, it's the same one.
the
Same one.
Oh, here comes Xyy'nai. Yep. Okay.
Hey guys. So did you guys have any questions or thoughts about the Nyy'xai and the Nyy'zai differences?
You know, most of my thinking was kind of going into how it feels to go back into collaging, because we haven't really gone through collage exercises, not extensively anyway.
Oh yeah,
Since
not
going,
nearly as much.
since doing all of these quizzes and then exercising, you know, our reading people based on video footage abilities, and it is kind of cool just because it feels a lot easier. Like a lot of these people I don't remember, but it's like I can relax my lens and it's like there's the answer. It kind of just pops. So.
Yeah.
It I don't know, you know, it feels really cool kind of going through these, and you know, each sample looks differently, but you see the abstraction that is the face of Nyy'zai or the face of Nyy'zai, and
Yeah, and really like the Nyy'zai have that what we call like the rhombus area.
yeah,
And it really like jumps out for the Nyy'zai, that area, the fact that their mouth goes sideways and then their eyes really pop because
Yeah.
those cheeks are sheer.
yeah. The fact also like the way that their eyes are tracking G too, so you see like the awareness in the eyes too.
Yeah.
You know, versus like Knee eyes, it's tracking the Z.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And they're more, otherwise they're more unaware of the social dynamics.
Right, right.
Yeah. Even though they're both very quick, they're both very engaged in gathering
Yeah.
information. So their eyes have that quickness. How about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I'm noticing that with the Nyy'zai, or just the collaging again, it's just kind of interesting. Like Adam said, I was a good friend with because for me it was actually a bit like I was a bit nervous looking back in the collage. It's like, oh, do I still have the same kind of abilities that I had before when I was doing them more actively? And so there was a bit of a like a shaky bit that kind of came up, but. It seems kind of like pretty much like you just kind of look at it and then the answer kind of reveals itself. But yeah, Nyy'zai, Nyy'zai, they're different. You can see the Xai and the Nyi kind of fuse together as momentum with the Nyy'xai, and the Nyy'zai have the Nyi and the Zai kind of like as a single kind of compound, and it's momentum for them. And I can start to pick out the way that the different powers are positioned in terms of the ranking a little bit better now. I'm kind of like, that's kind of opening up to me a little bit. I'm noticing. I don't know. Yeah.
I think I'd actually like to get back into collaging more as a study. I find that when I get away from collaging for too often, my video reading ability starts to go down. It really, especially since we've had, I really haven't done any collaging since we've done this major purification. And there have been a lot of changes and upgrades in the purification that I don't think I've quite integrated yet.
Yeah, I know that for me, I think it would be good. I feel the same thing now that Coach has done this major purification. I feel like intuitively, and then I've gone back to some of the samples and put them in collages, but yeah, doing like a massive update in the collaging now that we've had this new purification. It seems like something that's important to do to update some of those old like wrongly tagged or updated mojos for sure. I think that'll help a lot.
The pattern recognition template of the collages is what I use for mojo video readings. And if I don't have the most up-to-date collage pattern, I find that I'm not as successful in the video reading either.
Yeah, they really work hand in hand in that sense.
At least for gatherers, I don't know.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of more like the Rosetta Stone, kind of like being able to research and find out like, oh, who's this, and then kind of like putting them in and then finding them. It works really well for me personally.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep, I can, Coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys see me?
No.
No, it's
yes.
just black or.
It's still screen shared.
Let me go fix it on that side.
Are you guys working on collaging?
We did do a collage with Nyy'xai.
Okay. Are we moving on now?
We're in the discussion phase.
Okay, good. Because I can't see the collages, I'm not going to be able to today.
So they're not on here at all. I mean, they were on before.
Good. Because I'm on my computer. I'm on an iPad right now. It's not even mine. My computer's.
Oh yeah.
Really
I just use my tablet myself.
I was thinking one of the things that might be helpful with some of these bandwidth issues, and sometimes when people can't see the collages or whatever, is to have all the, I know I've said this before, but to have all the collages updated and loaded into Scribd so that some people can scroll along with it even if they can't see the screen for whatever reason.
That's a great idea, sir.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Or to have them kind of like, at least not necessarily in script, but like in document format, so that we can like go through them on our own.
Well, I think
It was great.
because Scribd is so fast for scrolling.
No, stay here. I'll use.
So that you don't have to, like, if you've got, bandwidth, you've got how much memory space you have.
Oh yeah, downloading a file while you're doing this might make your bandwidth a little bit worse.
Oh,
yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. So if everybody had the link to Scribd, we wouldn't have to download the document or anything like that while we're scrolling through.
Okay, Coach and Xyy'nai just left.
And it wouldn't take about 10 minutes to load them in before the Hangout, So it's just a thought.
Yeah, definitely. It would definitely help.
I think they restarted their.
Yeah, they should be back in a sec.
Yep, they're back.
There we go. Let's see if things work out. I think it should be better.
Here are the answers.
Have you looked at me yet?
No, I'm not.
Good. Still surprised value then. Alrighty, which quiz sample you guys on?
We're not on a quiz sample.
We
yet.
haven't started yet.
Did I say whoa?
Oh, you guys are.
Start quizzes yet.
You guys are still doing the collage between Nyy'xai and Nyy'zai discussion?
We were discussing it.
We were waiting.
We just
We
finished.
were waiting.
We just finished talking.
Gotcha.
Alright.
Okay, we're going to get started then. The first sample is Mireille Enos.
Yes.
Actually, before we get started, because I don't want to cloud your answers to cloud what you say now, so I'd actually like to collect this data now. What were you guys feeling about the hint? Was it helpful? Did it get in the way? Just so you know, what I was trying to do is I was trying to give a reason for your psyche to want to take another look. So you have the reason to take like an initial read, and then you can go back a second time to see if it matches up with the hint. That was my idea, but it was experiment, and I'm curious.
I actually really like this because like it kind of like encouraged me to like to not be so quick to assume that it's like one particular mojo. It sort of allowed me to sort of broaden myself out and go with like a few, and then kind of go back and compare and see if any like you know, I have two of the same for any and work that out. So it was pretty interesting. I liked it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I felt boxed by it.
How did you feel?
You felt
Biased?
Boxed.
Boxed. I personally, because I feel like it was an interesting kind of a modifier to the quiz. It made it. I thought at first it would make it easier because you kind of know what to expect with the quiz samples, and you know that there's going to be a certain mojo. There's going to be a certain number of them of a particular mojo. But actually, I found that it kind of it did make it easier in that way that you kind of knew what to expect. But it kind of made it harder in the sense that sometimes you might have like 3 or 4 people or samples that you might think are like the same mojo, but because of the case with this modifier, it kind of made it so that you would have to choose between those particular samples that you think are that mojo.
Right, on that.
Which was good. I liked it.
Because that's what I'm saying is because then, if I'm getting you correctly, you would have actually left it at that first pass on your native instinct. But this now told you that your instinct need to like do another rep. It needs to like try to run another try at it.
I appreciated that. Yeah, very much.
Coach,
I didn't like it.
Okay, that's good to know.
I liked it very much. To me, it felt very much like a puzzle, like almost like a Sudoku puzzle. Like,
exactly.
Exactly what position, what person had what mojo and what position. The only problem was, in the absence of this hint, I would not have compared one person to another person. It would have been a person in isolation. But then by putting other people together, you kept comparing person X to Y.
Exactly.
This sounds like good effort. Then this is actually what I wanted.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree. I think
there are 2 things. The one thing that Glenn said, which is that you would have to take a second look past your first instinct. That's good. And then that you were comparing and contrasting samples with like an intense scrutiny. That's actually good too. So that's encouraging. But then, Starglow, could you elaborate on the being boxed in? Because I really want to get a full idea of how this affects things. I'm trying different stuff out to see what works.
Well, it did feel like a Sudoku, and I hate Sudoku.
I hate Sudoku.
I hate them. It makes me like. It makes my vibe go absolutely berserk.
I agree with you.
It makes me nuts.
I have this problem also. I concur.
I think it's like a good healthy use.
Yeah, for me
It's a
it felt
Nyy'zai.
And whatever the answer is, it's fine. I'm just kind of collecting data. Is on the being boxed in, like my Xai is trying to track the Z of that. So you have a sample, like kind of following what Glenn was saying. You have a sample. You think it's such and such, and then you go to another sample, and you think it's the same such and such design. And then you know that can't be right because that wouldn't fit the hint. Now that felt boxed in, Did you feel? Did it? I'm curious.
I would be grateful.
No, I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious between because there's being grateful. There's also just the fact that you now know that you have to flex again on something.
Yeah, for me, it felt like.
But I really do want to know what. I really
Somebody
do want
else
to know what.
needs to articulate this.
Well, actually.
I'm curious because it's fascinating to me. I really want to understand it. Please.
Yeah, Xyy'nai.
For me, what happened was when I had this instance where I got to a sample and I would have read them as something that I had read another sample as, and so I knew that that was impossible, and so that caused me to be like, oh, well, there's an answer outside of what I thought. Actually, it's exciting for me because then I'm like, oh, okay, I know that can't be the same. So for me, it excited me because I'm like, well, what is it then? You know, and so then I would go in deeper, look into both cases deeper, and really try to see what am I missing? You know, so for me, it was kind of that hint helped me out. I think.
I agree with Xyy'nai there.
I don't know if it'll pan out in my answers. But
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
No, I just the boxing in thing. Just Nyy'xai kind of warned me there might be something to that. So this is something I was somewhat expecting, and I'm curious what there is to it. There's that, and there's also the element I'm aware of, which is kind of like if you do relatives. It's a double or nothing. Since you may think that both people are one or the other, if you guess it wrong, you probably got two wrong, not one.
Right.
So,
and Coach, this actually has relevance to what Ben tried to mention today about one of the samples being found in an earlier hangout.
Correct.
Because that got me thinking. Then that actually subdivided us into the people who had already turned this in before today versus the people that actually had the extra time today.
Right, and that I
it.
have to take responsibility for and apologize.
Yeah, that's okay.
I feel like that was more of like, I mean, like, because if that didn't happen, then it would probably been fine. It was just like, I don't know.
Oh no, that was well
I hadn't actually
appreciated.
started until like way early this morning, so if I'd started earlier, I would have been able to notice it earlier. But
okay, so on the boxing in element, if I could hear a little more about that, and also what you guys feel about the fact that it's going to kind of put you in situations where you're doing double or nothing reads. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I had a few thoughts.
The double or nothing piece maybe it's just part of it is that I'm not far along, and as say Xyy'nai and Ademus are, or even Mitchell and Ben, as far as my accuracy. So when I got to that place where I was seeing 2, and I knew that couldn't be right, it was like I don't see which it is. I don't see, and it was more and more frustrating. And the more frustrated I got, the less able I was to find the answer.
Yeah, I think
It's risky because of that double or nothing.
Okay, can I jump in here real quick? Because I realize there's a third element I want to talk about which she said brought up, and it may be a critical one that I think may be useful sometimes, maybe not others. Is something that Xyy'nai what it was, and now I kind of crystallized it with the Starglow. You're also going to have something which we haven't done before, is having a quasi-depth to your motion reading lens during the week, not just at the Sunday session. So now that could be seen as a positive or a negative. Seems like Starglow, that was rattling you quite a bit. And with Xyy'nai, you said it was exciting to realize, oh, I'll need to do a lens upgrade. And it's kind of a midweek lens upgrade.
Okay, yeah, I like this.
Because with the hint, if you make an instinctual guess and then the hint corrects you, you kind of got like a mini, quasi-death there before actually doing the.
Right, but Xyy'nai's Vi is higher than mine, and so it was making my polar Vi absolutely. I can't even tell you how frustrated I was with this week's quiz.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so what I'm thinking is, this sounds like something that generated a lot of energy, which is what I wanted, but also it may be something where kind of like, we do like peak athletes, you're cycle training. And some training can be really awesome, but you don't be doing it all the time. So it sounds like this might be good sometimes to do because it added some interesting drivers to make you want to read more than you normally do, but also seemed like it added some substantial pressures as well. The double or nothing and being corrected with your lens midweek, so you're kind of having to quasi-day twice a week. So maybe it's something I'll cycle in every so often.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to point out that like you don't necessarily have to not guess like Nyy'zai, for example, on Tuesday.
Yes, that's a good point. Several people actually did that.
Yeah, you can actually do that. I mean, yeah, that guarantees you won't get all of them right, but it'll split your. It'll make it more likely you'll get one of them.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, my Z doesn't like that at all.
Yeah, that's an
He
interesting
doesn't
idea.
like guessing more than one thing when I know it's not
But I know it's not
He
right.
doesn't like that at all.
It's just a strategy.
Yeah, it's totally understandable. I can understand it like you want to go in that way, but it is interesting that Ben mentioned that, and there were several people this week that actually did do that strategy instinctively. So
technically, I mean, you are going with what you think the answer is, so it's not like it's technically like wrong on your part. I mean,
No, that's not.
so I mean, logically it doesn't work, but it increases the odds of one of them will be right. So I don't know.
And in a way,
That's true,
and in a way, it's
considered
actually, in a way, it is actually a true statement. In a way, it may be jarring of what your confidence is in the read. You're like, I know that one of these is a Nyy'xai and one's a Nyy'zai, but I'm seeing Nyy'zai in both, so that's what I'm going to say.
That's interesting. I didn't think of that actually. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, I didn't
I
either.
actually thought of that
Yeah.
strategy, and my Z went, you cannot do that because that's not the way it's built.
Yeah, I can understand.
I did the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get 100%.
I prefer not having to do it.
You kind of have to like sacrifice that.
I think it's something I will kind of cycle in on a periodic basis, and the next time I do it, I think I will also mention that people can guess whatever they want. They can guess the same mojo for multiple samples. That's fine.
Remind them of that.
Yeah, I think it'd be good. Okay. Thank you very much for the feedback. I wanted to kind of know what that was, and I'll get more feedback from you as we now give the answers out, but I want to make sure before that happened I had some data there. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and do the first sample, which is Mireille, Enos, the actress.
So hard.
Okay, so I said Nyy'xai.
I said Nyy'zai.
I said Xyy'nai.
I said Xai'nyy.
I said Xai'nyy.
I feel like she's a Nyy'zai now, but I said Xai'nyy.
Xai'nyy.
I said Nyy'zai. Sorry, Nyy'zai.
She is Nyy'zai.
Yay.
Okay, so that's interesting to note that several people got different answers, so that maybe one will, besides missing it, the misses were actually a bit different locations. We got what, a Xai'nyy, Xyy'nai, was there anything else? Or were we only two?
Xai'nyy, right?
Xai'nyy. Okay, so I thought her earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Xyy'nai too. That's interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So next up is Emily Chang.
I said Xyy'nai.
I said Xyy'nai.
I said Nyy'zai, and that's wrong.
One question: how come I can't see Xai'nyy being on the screen?
I have no
My bad.
idea.
I accidentally disabled the video, so.
Ah.
There it goes.
There you are. Yeah.
No likesing faces.
Who's next?
I said Nyy'xai.
This is our crew. It's awesome.
I said Xyy'nai.
I said the Nyy'zai.
Said Nyy'zai.
And I said Xyy'nai.
So many different answers. I love it.
This is a Xyy'nai.
Oh.
Nice. So she's
I
another
got
one.
the drums mixed up.
That means I got another one.
The double or nothing. Got
She
me.
was tougher one. I actually, when I was on her, I went between a couple of things where I got her. All right, next up, this was one that I think people were stronger on in general. Valorie Curry, the actress.
I went Nyy'xai on her.
I said Nyy'zai as well.
Classic.
I said Nyy'zai.
I said Nyy'zai.
I said Nyy'zai.
I said Nyy'zai.
Said Nyy'zai.
I said Nyy'zai.
She is Nyy'zai. we could go over her, but I think a lot of people got her, and actually people that are not on air right now, several of them got that right as well. Okay, next up is Kaitlyn.
She's actually one of the ones I changed because I thought there was another Nyy'zai.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Aaron Buffet.
So yeah, apologies for that. My bad. That also tainted the reception of this new kind of training idea. So apologies for that. Next time I cycle in, hopefully I'll be a little smoother. All right.
It's all good.
So Kaitlyn Dever, actress.
Okay, I took a leap of faith with her, but I said Nyy'zai.
I said Vyy'xai.
I said Nyy'zai.
I said Nyy'xai.
I said nice. Oh, sorry.
No problem. I said Nyy'zai.
I said Nyy'zai.
I said Nyy'zai.
I did a complete stab in the dark because I couldn't make it match up and fit the puzzle pieces of the Sudoku, and I said Xyy'nai.
Interesting. She was a little tough. We'll definitely have to do her. She is Nyy'zai.
Oh, wow.
All right. This next one is one that the team was strong on in general, which is Brely Evans.
I said Xyy'vai.
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 Xyy'nai.
Xyy'vai.
Xyy'nai.
Did everyone go?
Xyy'vai. I don't know. I thought did Gabe go?
I said Xyy'nai.
And I said Xyy'vai.
She is Xyy'vai. Cool, so a literal. All right, and the last one is Allie Gonino.
I said Vyy'xai on her.
I said Nyy'zai.
I said Vyy'xai.
I said Vyy'xai.
I said Xai'nyy.
I said Vyy'xai.
Nyy'zai.
I said Nyy'zai.
All right, she is a Vyy'xai. All right, so we have a few to go over there. So, first of all, any thoughts about the quiz, having seen your answers now, before we start going over the samples?
I just mixed up those drums.
I'm glad my theories paid off. Yes.
Can we give a rundown of what they are again?
Sure. Mireille Enos is a Nyy'zai. Emily Chang is Xyy'nai. Valorie Curry, Nyy'zai. Kaitlyn Dever, Nyy'zai. Brely Evans, Xyy'vai. And Allie Gonino is a Vyy'xai.
Yeah, that one was actually, I felt kind of interesting because I was allowed to use a lot more deductive reasoning than I'm allowed to in any other kind of quiz. And a lot of these kind of flipped at the same time, like kind of solving a Rubik's Cube, where, what's her name? Emily Chang. This, like, in several phases, Chang. In several phases, like when I kind of started off, I had specific mojos that I was leaning on, but I was also shotgun blasting. Like, for her, for some reason, the first time, I was leaning Xyy'nai, but then I acknowledged she kind of reminds me of Ming Na Wen, too, so maybe Xyy'nai. And, you know, a lot of the others. And the first time through, Brely Evans actually had down as Xyy'nai, but that bothered me. And when I went back to her and then flipped her to Xyy'vai, and I'm like, okay, now that opens up Emily Chang for the possibility of Xyy'nai. So then I went back to looking at her. Then all of a sudden now I feel good with Xyy'nai. So, yeah, I was able to kind of use just a lot of power of deduction, which I probably did better with this way than I would have had it wasn't.
We had to guess more?
Had it didn't have the hint.
Good. I'm very curious on that, Nidemus, is did you feel that as a part of that it required you to look at the samples again or more, have to turn them over more than you did in previous weeks?
Yeah, it also kind of gives you something to aim for as well, if that makes sense. You know, instead of just like, sometimes you feel a sample's wrong, but it's like, I don't know what to cross-contextualize it with. I know there's a perspective that I got to look at it, but I don't know what the right perspective is. And sometimes it can be easy to just give up after that, or to focus on.
Yeah, that's definitely something trying to address and to
or help. Yeah, either giving up or kind of just allocating your resources toward another sample that you feel like is lower hanging fruit. So yeah,
No, that's great. No, that's great input. No, thank you very much. Anybody else?
I probably would have got Kaitlyn Denver right if I hadn't have had to try to find another one that I hadn't already used.
So it definitely adds a reason to turn the sample over more and work with it more, but also adds a difficulty modifier and can make you question yourself on a read you might have gotten right otherwise. So it's good to know. It's got some pros and cons to it.
Because the only reason I flipped it to Xai'nyy is because I'd already used Nyy'zai, and I was seeing the Nyi and the Zai absolutely.
Gotcha. It's good to know. So, but I do think it makes like an interesting obstacle course to kind of throw in from time to time, because it's another way for that lens muscle to get a workout. But yeah, we'll do what we've been doing seems to be like the standard quiz, and then we'll do some variations as well.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, exactly. And see what you guys think, and we can add things, rotations, or change things as I try out new experiments. So, in the beginning, we weren't actually doing theme stuff like this now. We were just kind of doing whatever came up alphabetically, but it seems like themes are better, and that actually came from experimenting with that. So we'll keep trying new experiments and see what sticks. All right, thank you guys for all.
Experiments.
Yep.
Love the experiments.
So let's see, what would be a good one or two to go over? I got definitely Kaitlyn Dever seemed like that threw a lot of people. And was there another one? Was it Emily Chang who was also challenging?
Well, the only reason I did Xyy'nai was because I flipped it from Nyy'zai, but I was thinking maybe Allie Gonino, because it's another V and Nyi one.
I like Emily Chang, Captain Draper. Yeah, those two.
Those two. Anybody else? Anyone else have a preference on ones you'd like to go over? I'd like to kind of get a consensus of two good ones.
What about Brely at Evans? Does anyone? I feel like a lot of people got her right.
She was really strong. A lot of people got her right.
I would love to see Mireille.
Tough for me.
Yeah, I didn't have any trouble. That was a Nyy'xai I knew.
A lot more people got her right. We all guessed like G alpha, but I feel like the difference between Nyy'zai and Vyy'xai on her is very difficult.
Yeah. Brely Evans, the differentiating between Xyy'nai and Xyy'vai is.
It's something we're not quite as used to.
Okay, let's do that then. That sounds great. Let's do Kaitlyn Dever because so many people got her wrong, and then we'll do Brely Evans because it's kind of an unusual one. Okay, sounds fun. And Xyy'nai, can you bring up the video? Sure.
You said Kaitlyn Dever was one of them that we were going to look at?
I think Xai'nyy was the only one that got her correct, right?
Who's this? Kaitlyn Dever? Yes, Xyy'nai, and then Starglow also said that she was actually inclined to say Nyy'zai, but they hit through her off. I think most other people got that one wrong.
The only reason I flipped it to Xai'nyy was because I already had a Nyy'zai, and I knew that I was seeing Nyi and Zai.
I would have considered Nyy'zai for more if I hadn't already guessed Nyy'zai in Valorie 3.
Well, it's the only way I could make that. I knew I was seeing Nyi and Zai, and and for whatever reason I didn't get the right Nyy'zai, so I had to do whatever, I had to just flip it to Xyy'nai. Maybe
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense. Well, why don't you go ahead, Charlene, take the lead, and then Starglow, you can also jump in and add some stuff. That's anyone else who gets a good idea going.
Okay.
Sorry, I lagged out.
No, I feel regret just because I was watching her like one of the other times I was going by and thinking.
I guess one of the things that jumped out for me in this particular interview, because I watched this one and some few others, but right away is like she's very comfortable with pitching herself, and she's doing big expressions like right off the bat when she greets the interviewer, and it's very effusive, and the mouth is really open, and she's doing a big smile, but it's not going into her cheeks, and that jumped out at me right away. Also, another thing that I was actually at first considering maybe, I don't know why, but like in the way my math worked out, it would either be a Vyy'xai or a Nyy'zai. But you know, at first I wasn't seeing the cheeks move, and then also she's very quick.
Real quick on that, Jarlene. Yes, that was a theme of the misses in this quiz. Was there were some flops that came up more than once, and actually I think the most prevalent one was people flopping Kaitlyn Deaver for Allie Gonino. Vyy'xai to Nyy'zai.
I can see that because she has like sort of a sweet version of her Xyy'nai, like or you know, like a Disney sort of version of her use of her Xyy'nai. That can seem like very like saccharine, very sweet, and so it could lead you to think Xyy'nai. And I was actually between those two until like one thing that was hitting me was the cheeks weren't moving even when she was doing big expressions, and also she was very quick with the connections, making connections to different thoughts and ideas. And she's quick at scrambling like ideas and jumping to other ideas. Whereas Allie, she actually always gave very literal, on point answers.
This is gold. Is it possible we have the video playing while you're talking and have it on the volume?
Sure.
That doesn't work well.
Could I get the link?
Could I get it too? I suppose we both get it.
Yeah.
The other thing, and I noticed that
I needed this too because
where it was freeze framed when Xylene was talking was the smile. She does that typical thing with the Nyy'zai where they smile down and drop their jaw. So that like, that's so typically Xai and Xy, you know.
Yeah, I don't know where I went with her because I kept thinking I saw the cheeks, they weren't moving, but I thought Nyy'zai. So I went the other route, but
we were seeing the Zez. But yeah, both the Xy and the Xai on Lot Faith Mojos, they go more down and sideways than up.
I actually didn't see that she had the sheer cheeks. I went with Nyy'zai. I could tell she was clearly Nez Alpha, but I couldn't distinguish how the G was actually going up correctly.
This bit is a knee thing. I do it all the time.
Yeah, also for gesturing
there are some upbeat nights too, but this is
guys.
different.
And this, when she's bobbling along with to staccato her speech, that's a typically Nyi and Zai thing to me with the Xy, because the Xy is a power that I don't have, and so when the bobble goes with the speech for emphasis, that tells me
that it's a Nyy'zai.
that it's a Xy with Nyi.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Right, one of the ad serves.
Yeah, exactly.
It pops up to me so much more. Like I mean, I considered Nyy'zai, but it's so annoying because like you feel like you should have it was on your mind, you just didn't consider it enough or think about enough.
Yeah. I know in the beginning when I was first looking at her, I thought Nyy'zai at first, but then I kind of dismissed it very, very quickly and just kind of like I went with my own kind of thoughts in some other direction. And,
yeah.
And then it just kind of like, where did I?
She also does this thing which, I like I say, I would have gone with Nyy'zai. It just didn't match the Sudoku. But Nyy'zai they use their knee to shunt power to their Xy. So when they're Xying, they use their eyebrow lifts a lot more often than Nyy'zai do. Nyy'zai, we don't mess with our eyebrows much. We just go total Z. but they use their eyebrows to Xy. They use their eyebrow knee perk to Xy.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's definitely like something
All
with
Xy
the
mojos,
eyebrows.
Xy users do that.
In particular.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they're shunning power to their modulation Xy.
Yeah, you also see right now she saw some bobble shimmy at it in her movement. I'll play it back just a little bit. But.
Not shimmy, that would mean she's doing bobble undulating.
Yeah, that, I was a little confused there.
Sorry,
Nah,
sorry.
it's
That's
fine.
what I meant.
And that little dance move that she did is not something that Nyy'zai do that well. Like we don't have the Xy to go along with that, so it doesn't.
Oh, actually, Nyy'zai, a lot are extremely good dancers. Some of the best dancers out there, Nyy'zai. Males and females.
It's not
I think she was
the
talking about something
dancing.
else.
There's a particular pop to it that goes along, in my experience, with the Xy that doesn't go along with the Xy.
I think actually, yeah, it's not actually the Xy, it's the Xy. I know you're talking about is she's using her body pops to actually talk in a warm way.
Like a swaggering sort of thing.
The way that all Xy users they toss their head and flick their eyebrows and do other things that kind of sell it. She was doing that with her body.
Yeah.
She was doing like she's selling it.
Yeah, so even with the dance moves, they sell it. Yeah, and that's not the way Xy users. Nyy'zai don't dance that way.
No, they don't. But they're amazing in the way they do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm not saying they don't dance, because we do have amazing dancers and gymnasts and all of that. It's just there's a I don't know, a particular pop that I associate with.
There's more of a vulnerability and a sexiness in that way with the Xy mojos as opposed to kind of like the selling it quality that the Xy mojos have.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Xy is aware, the Xy is kind of more internal, personal, kind of like I need to express myself kind of thing.
Yeah. But it can have a great wildness to it that's really awesome in a lot of things, particularly dance.
When I see a Xy dancer, it has this they're lost in the music sort of quality.
Yeah.
Their motions are totally entranced by the music, whereas a Xy dancer does that in a pop, selling it. I don't know, like Coach said, they're aware of how they're moving everybody else, whereas the Xy dancers, the way
they're being lulled. They're kind of
Xy
being
is doing
swayed by the music. They're being Xy'd. They're kind of like being moved by the music and being by it. Whereas the Xy users, they're going to be kind of like
spell.
But,
they're noticing the
Nyy'zai,
kind of like
Nyy'zai also have a very knowing way of, I mean, and other Xy dancers, but Nyy'zai come to mind as far as like being able to entice, being aware of the effect their movements have on those around them, and being able to use their movements.
It's actually the
great
vulnerability and how that kind of calls to people. You can be sort of like aware of that. You know what I mean? So yeah, we talked before, and comedians also. All the Xy user comedians, they often use their Xy in that kind of knowing, playful way.
And it's this thing like we're Xy'ing it, and we know that that as a byproduct of our Xy'ing, we're going to affect other people. But we can't go with the, like, if we start think in terms of moving other people, it doesn't work the same way. We can't put, it's like putting the cart before the horse. So if we start to move in that way, we get more awkward. Whereas if we're lost in it, we know that this is going to move everybody, but we have to be lost in it in order to move everybody.
Yep, that's pretty much. That's exactly it. So does anyone have anything before we move on? Do you want to see another video of her, or do you want to try?
You know, she reminded me a little of one of the Nyy'zai from, I think it was last week, which was not Ari Greener, the other one.
Xyy'nai and Demons, could you mute when you're not talking?
Spray Graydon. Did anyone else get that at all?
You said one of the Nyy'zai. She reminds you of one of the
Spray
Nyy'zai.
Graydon.
Sprague-Graydon. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Sorry.
Oh, you could be right. I could be wrong.
I have no idea. So
not do I.
It's anyone's guess. But anyway, that's how I actually got the read, is that I riffed her a little bit, like just some of the expressions she made and stuff.
That's good. Can you did you ever get that? So they would take a look in their Google Images or whatever. They can pick
Yeah,
out.
that's exactly what I did. Like I was comparing the images, and I look at their expressions, and I could like match. If I can match up two, just like look exactly alike, I'm like they're probably the same mojo.
Yep, that's.
It doesn't always work. Sometimes
But it's very powerful tool.
It's powerful, but I have made the mistake before. Sometimes I'll miss the inverse because they can look very similar. That actually happened.
That's true.
I thought Mireille Enos, I guess Xyy'nai in her, and I compared her to a Xyy'nai, and they had a very similar expression in one picture, but it was close, but not.
Yeah. But it's definitely overall, it really I think it brings you closer than you would otherwise. But yeah, at the very end, when it comes to like the fine distinctions, it can sometimes be a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
That brings up the piece that I was saying, that when I get away from collaging for too long, my mojo ability reading on video goes down too, because I'm not keeping those patterns in.
Agreed. That's why I'm glad to bring back the collaging, quizzing stuff, the little sections of it each time we start the online session. I think it really helps. Okay, are we good on her? Do we want to try the video with her or go to Brely Evans?
Yeah, I think
we should probably move on so we have time for live reads.
Yeah, we should move on.
Yep, I'm ready to move on.
Now I think several people did get Brely Evans right, so I'll go ahead and let this people take lead, and I'll jump in if it comes to me.
Didn't everybody get Brely right?
I think a few people guessed Xyy'nai, and I can understand.
Yeah, I saw Xyy'nai.
Yeah, that's very close.
We all guessed the alpha, so we're all
very close.
Like even the wrong answers were very close. But I just have a lot of trouble distinguishing Xyy'nai with Xyy'vai.
Cool. So a few people can chime in and tell you.
I actually didn't even think about that. I was only.
Because I actually really considered like Xyy'vai. Just
Are you loading it, Kaitlyn?
I'm loading it up.
That's something I noticed with the Xyy'vai.
Yeah, just trying to find some good ones. Here we go.
Sometimes I have kind of like a temptation to almost think they're a Nimojo, especially the ones that are in comedy.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Some of them, like we misread them as like Nyy'zai a lot or Xai'nyy.
Yeah,
That's
for
what a
sure.
lot of them were before, and a lot of them have very good knee development.
Yeah, I was thinking Nyy'zai at one point too with her, but
Like the comedians, but yeah.
That's vibe.
I did think it was the Xyy'vai.
Did y'all see that?
And the dead eyes.
the dead eyes.
Do we have a better word for that? But
I know,
at this point,
it's just. It's like a very sort of like.
It's not the best, I know.
Well,
Yeah, we gotta find a better word.
When she does
I
those,
want to say that, but I almost
I'm sure
don't.
they don't look dead to somebody who's not a nice.
Well, I'll tell you
Right.
what. It could be like
Yeah, that's
it
true.
could be like a dead eye, as in like Vi, like a dead eye, like a
Xyy'vai,
sniper.
you
No,
probably
listen,
disagree
listen.
with that statement.
Like a sniper, like a dead eye, like precise.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Like,
And I do agree in that context, but I think it unfortunately has other context now, so we need another word. Grr.
It's very much like something that's like really like solid. Like you mentioned this, Coach. It was like really I really liked it, like an engine block or something that's like.
Yeah, it has like the drone of like a consistent, strong engine that's like
exactly.
totally
It's like the purring of like a Ferrari. You know what I mean? Like it's like that kind of quality, and that kind of makes it sound really cool and
Agreed.
inspiring in a way.
Agreed.
Or like a scope, like they're so scoped in on people it's.
Oh, I like that. Scoped in. That's good.
I don't know. It was kind of weird. Like with some of the G-Vibes I've seen, they kind of look like the way they're the way their eyes are sometimes like slanted. They kind of look like hawk eyes in a way. I don't know with the Vi.
What kind of eyes?
Like they kind of look like the eyes of a hawk almost.
Yeah, I like that.
I see that.
I agree. And I know what you're saying though. Is that they have kind of like a hunter quality, because all the directives have a hunter quality in their eye to some degree because it's a hunter power. The perception power for directives is a hunter quadrant power, and they do have kind of like a bird-like quality. So it's like a visceral animal, but it is very, very focused.
Yeah.
Like eagle eye? Like
I was
eagle eye, hawk eye.
Yeah, like it's like
sometimes that bigger face like this, the objectives, they kind of look like they have owl eyes.
They definitely have I know that eagles, when they fly up in the sky, they have like so much better vision than humans do. And they're able to see every little detail, so they have like this resolution quality to them.
Yeah.
It's like so much beyond.
That's what I was thinking
see
with
the
it
tiny mouse running across the field from like 200
and
feet
then they
up.
just like swoop down and get that like rabbit or something.
And,
It's like
and that's that vibe.
Very spot on. I like the word spot on too. When they look at stuff, they look like they're looking at it spot on. It's like that accentuated rhythm of their literal evaluation.
Right.
Yeah, it's different than V. It's different than V though. It's more prepared.
No. It is. It's a directive appraisal. It isn't appraisal. It's a directive.
It's like a magnifying glass almost.
Yeah.
Like they're looking at, like an eagle can see the tiny, tiny mouse on a field. It's a magnifying glass. They magnify and expand and see it exactly.
Resolution is just the best word to use, I think.
Yeah. Another thing. Resolution is good, except for it's not actually an adjective. It's a noun, and it also happens to be the apex ritual for Daryu. So you may have to choose something else.
Oh, okay. If you think of it that way.
But I think you could maybe the word would be resolved then. That would make it an adjective, right?
Resolved. Yeah, that I like that because it's kind of like it's known now, like.
Right.
Yeah, that actually makes me think about Vi too, because like when I think about like a resolution, I think about something that's like that's written down, that's specific.
Yeah. Because also I think like
resolved stare of the Vi.
I also think of like a laser kind of like on burning on like a hard drive or like a hard disk or something, and it's just like burned and it's like kind of like
there's the burning
seared.
from the laser, but
I think it's
there's
very
the
much
already seared.
Spot on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, go back to the sample real quick here, though. Two things that helped me to see Xyy'vai, not Xyy'nai, is in the eyes, going more of what you were saying about the Vi. I actually sometimes use, quite often actually, Nyi.
Totally.
The Xyy'vai, I can see Nyi in her eyes, and that tells me it's not the Xyy'nai. The Xyy'nai and Nyy'zai, they do that. They have clear-eyed look.
Oh yeah, that sounds. Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking too. Is like.
Oh, and one last thing before I'll go on. You guys go on. Is that the voice? If it's usable, I do use the voice a lot to distinguish between, say, Nyy'zai and Vyy'xai, Xyy'vai and Xyy'nai, so on and so forth. It's quite actually helpful because they'll have that different sound to it, with drone sound, gravitas.
Yeah, that earthy vibe.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I also use the voice a lot for this, because with her, I was between like Xyy'nai and Xyy'vai, so I had to take a moment to kind of cross-contextualize with more Xyy'vai, and then once I did that, then like I know they have a distinct voice, but I have to like look at others and cross-contextualize to get what that sounds like. The kind of raspy drone that like some of the Xyy'vai have it more accentuated than others, but
there's this bionic roar.
Yeah.
With the raspiness of the phone.
It's kind of brassy too, like a trumpety kind of drone.
But yeah, it's cool because you have like the percussive Xy on top, right? But then you have the drone. So I don't know. You can also distinguish that.
They sound like smokers even if they've never smoked.
Wow. Yeah, kind of.
Well, that's. I mean, artistically, you could probably use that.
But I mean,
I think it's one of the things that's kind of a descriptive way of saying it that may be good for one person to kind of label it that way.
Yeah, that probably doesn't cross over, yeah.
But I kind of get what you're getting at, but I think there's different kind of descriptors there. Are we good on her? Do we want to see a little more? Are we ready for a live read?
Just a question, Coach.
Sure.
How do you distinguish between the way that the Nyy'zai has like a weariness to it, whereas the Vyy'xai it has like a different kind of quality to it. It looks kind of weary, but it looks kind of different a little bit. I was just wondering.
It does, but one thing is something that is going on for a while is that in the use of talking about Nyy'zai, there's two words that are similar but different. They both have to be applicable. One is weary, W-E-A-R-Y, and the other is wary, W-A-R.
Yeah.
Okay, so they both apply. So often when I'm talking about Nyy'zai, what I'm talking about is wariness, no E. And that means that you have a suspiciousness towards the world. Weary means you have more like that heaviness, a bit of exhaustion to you, like you're light weary.
And,
like a haggard.
and I don't
I can both
see
associate
that
them with
Which Nyy'zai can have for sure.
I don't
So I
think
think
Vyy'xai has that wariness that.
no, agreed. So that's the
Yeah.
similarity and difference. The Vyy'xai and Nyy'zai both have a weariness. That's the gravitas and heaviness of hunters. So they both share that. But the wariness, that suspicion, that's Nyy'zai abductive reasoning that makes that suspiciousness. That with Vyy'xai, they have more what I would call like a worried kind of quality to them.
Like they'll
Not
forget
worried,
something.
Worried.
You don't want to forget.
They seem worried.
And
don't
they're
know if we
not
see that.
often suspicious because they take things at face value. It's like they see it, that's the way it is, and that's the only thing that exists because they don't have the rest that
Right,
sexual
and also-
conversation.
Yes, but in the way that they do have, they are strong. They're worried that the details they know are somehow going to be slipped through their fingers, or other people are going to have them slip through their fingers. So they're worried about the known being dropped.
Yeah.
The Nyy'zai, it's different. The wariness is actually on yourself. It's part of self-possession, which is, what have I missed? What am I not seeing? What is it about this person I don't know but should know? And so even if the person's actually being totally forthcoming, Nyy'zai are always wary in that way because they're wary about themselves. They're like, what don't I see? And that what don't I see just makes them suspicious, starting with their own lens. What isn't my lens seeing? Besides people lying to me and stuff and hiding stuff, I'm suspicious of my own equipment.
Yeah.
So suspicion of your own equipment, as opposed to Vyy'xai, worry that your equipment or other people's equipment has become faulty or has somehow, lost consistency of.
Right.
Yeah,
Less
I
dependable.
recognize that as a polar Vyy'xai user, that I'm not remembering the detail right. Yeah.
Maybe we could do a collage on the Xyy'nai and Xyy'vai at some point too.
Yeah, we definitely do a bunch of different
Very
cross
It's weird to think about what it would be like to have Vyy'xai as like a momentum power. I can like as a Nyy'zai, it just feels so weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah, it's alien.
I actually get a taste of that
Yeah.
sometimes. I do different feats, particularly for Nyy'xai when I go hardcore, like fanatic style, I want to break the world record, and I go down to the Z and Vyy'xai. I want to break a certain kind of score, and I have to use some ridiculous Vyy'xai to do it. I've noticed that there is, for example, doing the Bardic feats, there's a real investing in stuff once you've memorized it, and I get a little taste of what it must be like to actually have that.
Yeah, I can relate to that too. I actually see that now. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think sometimes you just forget like how it feels like, but you know because you've experienced
Yeah,
it.
you've experienced an intense Vyy'xai.
I've had a little taste of it because normally it's the Nyy'zai. I have my visions. If my visions feel strong, I feel strong. But if the visions are very like bonded to me, then I feel an intense like loyalty to them.
Yeah,
But
because I mean,
the Vyy'xai has its way of doing it too. It's through that kind of repetition. You like tattoo it on your soul and your bones, and you feel like it's wrong to step away from it.
Because as a Nyy'zai, it can be really nice to be on point. I mean, we've all experienced this. Like, it would be really nice if I could just like say this exactly how I should be saying this, But,
Yeah.
Sure. Actually,
Good.
both the Neds Towers, by the way, routinely wow me with their offside Vyy'xai. I'm like, man, that thing's badass.
Yeah.
When, like, in my job, I have to use a lot of Vyy'xai. I have to keep a lot of numbers in my head. And when I know something, no one can tell me I don't know it. And I will find it, and I will give it to you, and I will show it to you. Because I know it. It's there.
There's
It's
an attachment to it.
permanently.
Yeah.
Yes, it's imprinted.
No,
like
nobody can
tattooed.
shake you up on that. Like, you got it. Like,
If it's something I
Yeah.
know, I know it, and don't argue with me because there's no point in that.
So you can see it's different than 9 that way, but it shares that sureness. It's like when it has it, it's like I have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool.
Although
So
now there's
if
like
we get into a live read, does anyone have any suggestions?
Oh, I wanted to share one.
okay, go ahead, man.
Oh man, I just gotta pull out something.
I know some people sent things in different times. Did I get everyone's? I read them all, but I don't know if they were made public. Is there any of the read requests that you put into me that you don't know the answers are?
Read requests you don't know the answers to? I haven't sent any in, so that.
Okay.
Wait, recently or ever?
Are
I think
we
ever.
are we staying
I probably have
on
tons.
the female
Oh my gosh.
We
theme?
could, hey, possibly a Demas. In the show Workaholics, can you go to IMDb and find out the female boss they have? I don't think we've read her.
The boss?
I read her today when watching the show. The boss, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
I have this huge list of like over 500 samples that I've like not even read.
Yeah, I've got my Pinterest collage of all the ones that I'm still waiting on a read request on. Oh, and Coach, can I throw out that I'd love to have scorpions as a theme show for one of the quizzes.
Okay, I thought
Okay, I have one.
Okay, cool, great. Okay, so Demas, do you have anything yet? Okay, so what's the name that you have, Glenn? And who have we done a scorpion? I know we've done some of them already.
Okay, mine is Courtney Draper.
What's she?
I only know of 2 actors on Scorpions that have been read.
Who's that? The main character has been.
The main character and the
Xyy'nai.
FBI agent is
Right.
a Nyy'zai.
Nyy'zai, right. So there's the other ones. We can do any of them. Okay,
Well,
so what?
Okay, so
maybe if we could do that
I
as a
have
theme,
Okay.
as a quiz theme, like the whole show again, like we were doing some of the quizzes for the shows.
Okay, I can mix that in. I want to do a little more with the ladies, then I can do that.
Yeah, so I have her an interview for her. Are we going ahead with that?
Yeah, sounds good. Then we can do the one that Glenn put up there next.
Okay, so she is Maribeth Monroe.
And I'm not going to be able to do any of the video stuff, so you guys know.
Link, which I just put in the chat. Cool. Yeah, we're doing Maribeth.
What's this person's name?
Meredith?
Yeah, Maribeth Monroe.
Maribeth Monroe.
Is she related to Marilyn?
That would be helpful.
She might be Nyy'zai then.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to use a different computer.
So many people think Marilyn Monroe is like a Nyy'zai or a Vyy'xai, which is interesting. But anyways.
I could see that. There are a lot of Vyy'xai, like starlet types, but...
Oh, did you say she was related to Marilyn Monroe?
No, I don't think that's actually true.
We don't know
Okay,
that.
okay. I was just making sure.
It's like open and shut case, Johnson.
Hey, one thing that I think I'm noticing is she has a very large smile, but I don't know that I'm seeing emotiveness up the cheeks yet.
I'm thinking it's localized below the midline. I'm thinking it's logic based.
She looks a bit long to me.
Long?
Yeah.
Long lines?
Like long face and stuff?
She's got some long lines, I think.
Like frame-wise, long frame.
Oh, okay.
Maribeth Monroe. Just spelled differently. So what show is this woman in?
Workaholics.
Workaholics. Okay, thank you. I think this is either the right one then.
Sounds like it would be kind of a bit of a interesting show.
I directed.
It's a comedy.
It's a comedy. It's like Seinfeld or something?
It's kind of like
The Office, but
with a league, yeah.
X-rated. Yeah.
Oh, The Office.
The Office, but X-rated. Like an actress, writer, and comedian. Very interesting.
Actress, writer, and comedian.
Featuring a comedy.
What's y'all's feel on directive adaptive?
I'm interested in that
do
too.
you have a leaning on that? She's leaning to the right an awful lot.
Sorry.
I don't think I have a leaning yet for adaptive directive because I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm kind of evaluating her limbs and how much she engages and disengages off of the interview. I'm not quite sure yet.
I definitely think that she has knee, not nigh.
What makes you say that? It's possible. I'll look at her video. On.
Okay. You want to pull another interview up? I don't know. After this one, I'm still leaning towards either Nyy'zai or Nyy'zai. I'm not sure which. You know, I kind of see it's interesting because her mouth riffs me of Marion Cotillard, and I don't know if it's. I know I don't see the emotiveness above the cheeks, but I'm wondering if it's like a dry mouth and a Nyy'zai. But I've never really seen that kind of mouth in a Nyy'zai, so I'm kind of.
All I got is cerebral so far. That's it.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. I don't know what to make. I mean,
Yeah.
watching quick. That's kind of thing that stands out. Some pretty quick.
Yeah, I agree. I agree on the quickness.
I
I've been
know
playing with
she's
quite a few
logic.
mojos.
I don't know what else though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I kind of agree with Mitchell that she's very quick.
But I don't honestly know what that means.
Yeah. Just put it in.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what that means either yet.
I think it can either mean like gatherer or it can mean like directive.
Monologue.
Right? I think that those
like percussive monologuing.
monologuing, percussive, exactly.
Or manic.
It's interesting that quickness can be, it can be done in different ways by different mojos.
Causes are the same as quick.
And now that I'm thinking on it, I'm not sure that I think she's got articulation on her momentum side. So I'm feeling like she's probably an adaptive for that reason.
I'm not
Most
sure.
most female comedians tend to be. What are the statistics on them?
Well, there's some Nyy'zai.
I mean, if you're gonna find Nyy'zai females
also
anywhere,
Nyy'zai.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, there aren't that many Nyy'zai females in general.
Oh no,
There are
that's what I was gonna say. Is if you were going to find Nyy'zai females anywhere,
They're in
would
comedy.
be the
Yeah.
first place to come up.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
In like science or something.
yeah, I think there are more Nyy'zai female comedians than Nyy'zai, perhaps. But
That may be true.
But
I'm not sure.
but not exclusive because there are a lot of Nyy'zai in comedic roles. So
Definitely,
like Amy
yeah.
Poehler, you think about that and all
Yeah.
the other ones. So it definitely does happen.
Does her articulation seem cool? It seems to me like.
I'm not sure yet. Yeah.
It seems to me like she's got.
Are you guys playing a second video? I'll see a second video.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if we were done discussing.
Oh, my bad. I apologize. No, please keep
Yeah,
going.
we can load
This is
up the
good.
second video though.
Okay.
So what are you guys noticing with the second video?
I think she.
It's alright. I'm not actually able to watch anything right now because I'll drop out of the call, but looking at pictures and...
What can someone? Do you have the link?
I do have the link, but I can't watch the videos. Now I'm dropping out of the call.
Why not?
Really no.
Pretty funny.
He's probably doesn't have enough bandwidth for both video and the call.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, there's a cue. It really doesn't seem to me like her expressioning is going up her face much.
No, I'm definitely.
I'm just to confirm that it did seem to already be kind of going in that direction.
It seems to be
Doesn't really.
I think I'm eliminating pilots too.
To me, she's seeming
I think she seems like a Xyy'nai to me.
No, I never...
To me, she's seeming kind
pilot
of
interpreter she could be.
What's that, Johnny?
No.
To me, she's seeming a little percussive.
Percussive?
So,
Yeah.
so I'm eliminating pilots, but I'm still working on Nyy'zai or Nyy'zai or...
Yeah. Either of the Zez.
Yeah, I'm leaning in the Nyy'zai's direction.
Yeah, I'm Nyy'zai's leaning towards Nyy'zai.
Yeah, I think I'm still leaning toward Nyy'zai too.
She does seem to have...
Krista Miller, would that be a fourth gear that resonates with?
Yeah, actually, the pictures seem more obvious to me. I should be seeing it more in the pictures.
Let's look at pictures. Let's look her up.
She has some eye game. For sure. Looks kind of thing in a way. She does have strong emoting.
Yeah, eye game can be tricky sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's
She has good strong emoting.
like the
But
fact
I
that
don't know if it goes...
I mean, it is there. It's just.
I don't know. Her eyes kind of seem like they're piercing through me, as opposed to dancing.
Yeah.
And I may be wrong, but that's how it kind of.
Right. I know. I don't disagree. I just think that like, they can just sometimes be tricky. That's all.
Yeah, I know. She does kind of like cock her head in an interesting kind of way too, sort of like.
In the videos I watch, she's on the left a lot.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's good for you to notice.
I wasn't really paying attention to that, but she actually is.
Just slightly to the left.
Kind of a JoJo,
Her head
right?
tilt.
Slight tilt.
Her whole body actually.
And she kind of has like this kind of like eyebrow raising kind of like look to it.
It's like a perma left tilt. He stays there.
Which one? See, like the kind of longness I see in her, like would almost make me want to like even look at like Xai'nyy, but I think I see a lot of rigidity.
She has more.
That's what, yeah, exactly. That's
More tension.
But what I'm saying is like the longness, yeah.
You don't think maybe she's like a Nyy'zai that's using
That's where I was
her Xy in an interesting way to kind of come across? It seems less like.
I don't see Nyy'zai at all because she's got
No,
No, that's.
I agree.
I don't think it's value.
Just the whole, just on
It
a
seems more-
third gear up level. I don't really think I'm just
Yeah,
getting the signal as an IG.
I'm not getting.
Oh, I don't see it. I don't see the emotiveness going up into her cheeks.
Nyy'zai at all. Like,
It's the Nyy'zai is not coming up, and she's quick with her knee, or something. She's quick with something.
Yeah. Well, do we want to watch one more interview?
How do you guys feel about that?
well, I think that sounds good.
Okay.
Kind of solidify ourselves.
Hold on, I feel like I want to play with Nyy'zai a little bit.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, because I think her
I mean, Nyy'zai
voting
never
seems
has eyes.
suspicious.
I mean,
I do kind of feel like she's a Nyy'zai alpha. But I
Oh,
mean,
I'm not getting.
I actually played with that a little bit on the first video, but then I kind of went over to.
I'm kind of like reminded of that one guy that we had for Game of Thrones, that one bad guy. He kind of had an interesting game, right? You played that one bad guy.
I don't know. I'm not getting the Nyy'zai vibe. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I am not getting the Nyy'zai vibe at all in the least.
I kind of feel like I'm seeing something with the emoting with her. Maybe it's just shy, but I think it's good to like play around with that idea for just a bit.
Kind of weird. Xyy'nai. Interesting.
One thing that I think I'm seeing here in this interview that I've seen in the other ones is her smile seems to be going sideways, not upwards.
And to drop, it drops. She drops her jaw to go with big smile. So totally logic based.
What about like slinkiness? Are we seeing that?
Slinkiness versus like a bobbliness.
Yes.
I think slinky kind of wins out. What do you think?
I think I'm not seeing necessarily slinkiness, but I'm seeing tension in her body, which I guess could be like a Nyy'alpha with a lot of poise or vibe, but would be more natural for a directive. That poise and yeah, which is
That's interesting. She's kind of like
her posture.
What was that, Ben?
She's kind of like holding onto her knee and like sitting really up, straight. I don't know. Interesting.
And her whole body sways, which is not typical for me.
Do we feel good on like maybe calling it? You think?
Yeah, then we spend some time revisiting.
Yeah, I feel pretty good.
I'm feeling pretty good with Nyy'zai. I mean, I'm sorry, Nyy'zai.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards Nyy'zai, so
Yeah, I'd say
I'll
Nyy'zai
go
too.
with that.
I'd say
What do you
Nyy'zai as well.
Nyy'zai.
Anyone disagree? Have a different one? No. Okay, so team consensus is
Did we
Nyy'zai.
get it right, Coach?
Yep, she is Nyy'zai. Yay!
Yay!
So now you can join some of the other stuff because this guy here, I believe he's been red. He is Nyy'zai.
Nyy'zai.
Yeah.
It's actually got an interesting rhythm there.
Cool.
And several people on Workaholics are also Nyy'zai males.
Oh, that's sweet. Cool. You got yeah. Awesome.
Oh, directive female, adaptive males.
Yep.
Good.
Do you want to see her in one of the earlier videos now that you know this? I think one of the earlier ones was more close up. And we can do a bonus if you guys. Anyone wants to take a shot at the interviewer? I've read both the interviewers, so if anyone wants to do that, I can.
Oh, it's funny. I actually started to read her a little bit. I didn't spend too much time, but.
I feel like we should maybe move on to the next sample. I really want to do the next one.
Oh, all right.
I was going to guess Nyy'xai on this interviewer.
Well, come back later, but do we have time to do another one? That's what I was wondering. Do we have time to do another one?
We have like, I don't know. It depends. Do we want to go like? If we want to go later, we could always.
Are you guys up for another one?
I'm up for another one.
All right, let's go ahead. Courtnee Draper.
Unless someone has to leave at 10:30.
So Courtney.
So it's up to you guys, but I'm up for doing another read. Go ahead if you want.
Yeah, Demas is looking for an interview right now.
Anything better?
See if you click on this, you'll have that. We'll have more.
So what does Courtnee Draper play in?
She's actually a voice actor.
You're taking off, Demas?
No.
No. Can you hear us? We're still here.
Is it muted?
Yeah.
No.
Coach, so are you going to share with us what Ellen Etten is?
No, not since we didn't get to watch through with her. We're moving on to Courtney Draper. So we'll do another time.
You're going to save it for a quiz, aren't you?
Save it up, yep.
Yeah, save it up. That's good. That's cool.
Okay, Courtney Draper.
Can we fast forward to something? Who are we doing? Is this the person?
It's the woman, the brunette.
In blue?
I can't see the video.
No, can you pause?
I don't know. It advertised a. There we go. I think this is her.
That's her?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her. Why are we not?
Oh, my bad.
I'm sorry, what's her name again?
Court, and then N-E-E, and then Draper.
Courtney? Courtney Draper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's her? It doesn't look the same as the pictures.
There's two E's at the end, not a Y.
It's an American actress. She's missing a Hudson.
Okay, so yeah, this doesn't look like
the pictures look completely
Courtney
different.
Draper.
Yeah, no. All right, so
I think we're not finding interviews for her.
at least not
Yeah,
what feels like usable
nothing,
ones.
With her face.
And then why don't I try putting Bioshock at the end?
What is that? Let's try something different then.
Yeah, it seems like this doesn't have a lot of media.
No.
There's plenty of media. I checked last time.
What's that?
Can
I
you
checked.
pull up
She
an
had plenty
interview
of
for her?
media before.
If you can
Glenn?
find it for us,
Yeah.
Glenn. Oh, did Gabe need to go somewhere?
I don't know.
That's weird. Like the interview footage looks like she has blonde hair, but in the picture she's brunette. Did she just like dye her hair, or
I think it's someone else.
She may have dyed her hair.
Does anyone know what happened to Neo Megas?
maybe that's why?
No, he might have
He
just
may have
dropped
just
out.
dropped out or something.
That happens all
Yeah,
the
I
time.
mean, I put her name in it, and you can see in the.
It's kind of weird because she's also like she's
They're
a
all
voice
her.
actor for BioShock Infinite, right?
She has blonde hair too. Yes,
I
there's
think
one
this
with
might
IGN.
be a
This might be-
different. This might be a different Courtney Draper. So yeah, if you can find something, Glenn, in the next couple minutes, that would be great. Otherwise, we'll have to find someone else.
No, I think they they might be the same person because, like you said, she was a voice
It
actor.
seems like a bit confusing. Just this is not a good way
It's
to do
not-
motion reading. It's confusing, and Glenn, you don't have your computer up and running, so this is not an ideal time to do the sample since you're the one who wants it.
Okay, fair
You need
enough.
to have, you know what I mean? There's no reason to put this kind of pressure on a read.
I have the link. If you
Okay,
can-
go ahead then. Do you guys have the link now?
Are you
I'm singing right now.
Let's see, Courtney Draper.
sending it through the chat?
Yeah, I'm trying to send it to the chat. It's not working. We might need to abort this one.
Yeah,
then.
they're
Okay,
definitely the
let's-
same person. I just looked on Wikipedia. Like, the video showed that she's a voice actor for Bioshock Infinite. The Wikipedia page, she's a voice actor for Bioshock Infinite, and it shows...
Yeah, it's the same person.
Yeah,
with blonde
voice
hair,
actor
she has brown
Elizabeth.
hair.
In Bioshock
I think she
Infinite.
just dyed her
And
hair.
there's a
Yeah,
video
exactly.
of her.
That is the case.
And she's older, quite a bit, yeah, than she was in some of the older films she did.
Okay, can we get a good video of this person then?
It was something like 10
Well,
years ago.
it looks like we got her on this video already.
Yeah,
All right, go ahead. But I want this one plus another one that's closer up.
Okay.
No one was going to come to listen to questions about myself, so. Nice, you, Elizabeth. It's so
I've read her, so she's good to go whenever people want to do it.
One thing that I'm noticing with her is that she's having a comfortability with monologuing right now. Whenever she answers, she goes off on a monologue. Very easy.
Yeah, and she's comfortable outside of her personal space as well.
And it appears to be Xy that she's using to articulate. But she does disengage from the interviewer. She's disengaging.
She seems subjective to me. And
I agree. Sorry. I was just going to say that I agree with that, and I kind of see a little bit of her expressions at times rip me on of that singer of Monsters and Men with short blonde hair. And another Nyy'xai actress that I don't recall her name.
Yeah, I started to say I'm leaning already in the direction of Nyy'zai.
Yeah, me too. Her hands look long, but not fronzy or spidery. They look.
Yeah, she's comfortable with moving her hands out from her body space when she does. She doesn't have this uncomfortableness about it that a lot of times Nyy'zai will move theirs out of their body space, but they'll be uncomfortable about doing it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Because as a Nyy'zai, we can like faux directive pretty well sometimes. But I don't think she's fauxing it.
Yeah, I think so. It seemed like when she's actively listening to him, when he asks the question, she seems to have a warmness on her, and then as she's articulating, it seems like it's warm. And she does like cunning, knowing looks at him as she's answering, but she's disengaging a lot of the time.
Yeah, and she stays warm, so she stays that on-stage Xy thing to me.
Yeah.
And is the interviewer, is he Nyy'zai?
He looks adaptive.
Yeah,
he
maybe.
He might be Nyy'zai. He looks a gatherer.
So like, I'm thinking they're doing.
He could be. He could be. I mean, a lot of.
They're doing a little bit of the Nyy'zai dance, maybe. That's the direction I'm leaning anyway. Not to like move anybody in the wrong direction.
But yeah.
All right, I'm going to step in here a little bit. Guys.
We haven't gone to a consensus or anything.
Okay, cool.
Are we in the wrong direction?
Oh, well, I was just going to say that the new interviewer is Nyy'zai, if that helps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that does help.
But I'm not saying anything about the actual sample, but I'll give you that as a little context.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know.
Nyy'zai.
Well, I'm pretty confident that she's Nyy'zai's.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting that from her.
I totally feel that way too.
I'm not even. I don't know. I'm looking at the pictures. Like the pictures, like I can more clearly see what you guys are talking about. Like with the, with possibly.
But even notice during the interview how much she's disengaging from the him, like looking away and looking down. She does that
But she does it like with that
Yeah, but I'm not sure
stage
that's
V
necessarily.
totally in his like
You're not-
she's. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'll let Ben talk.
I don't
What
know.
were you
I mean,
saying?
like, she that is true though. I mean, she's like going like she isn't like directly looking at the interviewer a lot of the time.
Right.
Although that might be like it could also be me where it's just like kind of like scattered and she's trying to sort of make that out, but I don't know. But I see what
I'm
you're
not
saying
getting
too.
that. I'm not getting that at all.
Yeah, I'm getting piercing looks when she's looking at the.
I'm not actually getting that in their view.
She's
I am interested
okay.
in like maybe other people kind of giving their thoughts. I think Mitchell and Ben, or maybe Demas even. I think that would add a lot of
It's good to get a good back and forth on things.
That's true.
Like I don't disagree with you. I'm just trying to bring in like another possibility that's coming to mind.
I don't
I
know.
know that a lot of voice actors can sometimes even be Xyy'nai, but I think that's mostly for the males. Females, I'm not sure exactly. She's also done film work too. So.
She doesn't seem to have that perfect smile like I would think
Yeah, I
for
can.
a Xyy'nai.
I think I can see that.
Is there a second video that we're gonna look at?
Yeah, I'm logging one in. Also, you know, I see a kind of rigidity in the hands, but I don't feel like it's full pilot.
No.
Not a pilot, yeah. Not
No.
not a
I'm just
Xyy'nai.
seeing Xyy'nai.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Xyy'nai either. It was also hard for me to see. It's easier if I have a closer look at their face.
Agreed. That's why I definitely want a second video cross-contextualized. I was having the same thing. I was able to get her, but that made it much more challenging.
Bioshock Infinite. Ugh.
There is a lot of poise, though, I think.
I'm just gonna head back to the video.
So I'm not seeing adaptive also because she uses her whole spine is rigid. So like she sways with the whole spine connected.
She's kind of doing a little bit of a hunter hunch, too, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd definitely say so.
A hunchless hunch.
I don't think I have any doubt at this point. And if I'm wrong, I'm just wrong, and it's going to be a quasi-death, but... Does anybody else want to call it at this point? Is anybody else?
I don't know.
Sure,
I want to look at some more footage.
If anyone else wants to spend a little bit more time, though.
I see more what you're saying in this interview. I just want to make sure I've got it. Like I see more poise, like in the way she's saying, and also the smile looks.
And I did see her point with her finger too. So I mean.
And also the Nyy'zai look, or sorry,
Directive
the eyes look a little more piercing as I get a closer look.
Well, I mean, Nyy'zai will point too, but
It's interesting though. I mean, it seems to me like more
kind of
directives tend to do it,
way of
and
pointing.
it looks a certain way when it's done.
which is not to say I think she's Nyy'zai, because I've already said what I think.
Yeah.
But Nyy'zai do point. Especially when
I think every mojo points to some degree.
especially when we get right off on that righteous intervener, we'll go after. Like it's gone. So she does this thing like this and points at the same time. That's not a Nyy'zai thing.
Wait, does what and points at the same time?
She does this motion where it's like a point and a like I can't.
Kind of like her head moves back and I don't know.
And
It's
it's
also very-
out there at the same. Yes.
Yeah, it's very far out of her personal space.
I see. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that does make sense.
Like this.
I see more intensity in her eyes in this one. I don't know. I'm leaning more towards Nyy'zai now.
She's got a very elegant game though. I do have to say.
Yeah.
She's
That's
got
what threw me off.
really
Like, the other
good
one,
game.
it was kind of hard to see. It almost looked more like Nyy'zai, but at this one it's a little more clear.
She's got good game.
Yeah.
And the voice actor thing too makes me think the Xy ability
Those
too.
eyes are now. They look pretty intense.
Yeah, I think so. I was actually going with the Xyy'nai in the beginning, but now I think Nyy'zai seems to make more sense.
I don't see Pilot at all.
Yeah, totally. I don't. There's definitely like a perception thing going on with their eyes. The Nai is like above.
Yeah, and like I said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I definitely get the Nyy'zai vibe off of her. Like that really cool, clever
Yeah, and it was weird because like, in the video it looked more like in the other video it almost looked more like Nyy'zai. Maybe I looked at the pictures like where you actually could see her face. I don't know, looked more Nyy'zai. This one it looks more Nyy'zai.
Well, I mean, Nyy'zai women do that thing because they have to get really good at their game. They do play the adaptive as a
especially female Nyy'zai. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I think
they
little bit-
shapeshift into adaptive.
Mm-hmm.
They don't actually become adaptive, but they
they have
shift
to
into
do
an approximation of what they think an adaptive is.
especially being like the yinnest of the directives. I mean, there's
Right.
always-
Totally.
So that is one way that female Nyy'zais up their game, which is so cool to me. I mean, I just love it.
All right, guys, we're to consensus.
I feel like Nyy'zai personally. I'm not sure where everyone else is at.
Does anybody else have anything different than Nyy'zai?
I'm leaning towards Nyy'zai. My second guess would be Nyy'zai, but I'm gonna say Nyy'zai.
Not good with Nyy'zai.
Nyy'zai.
Shailene, you too, I say.
Yeah, I still stand by Nyy'zai.
Shailene was on Nyy'zai. Me and we were on Nyy'zai a while
I
back.
think we're all Nyy'zai. It looks like.
Take a moment to refresh yourselves for another swim in the waters. She is neither of the Nyy'zais.
Ah!
Nyy'zai. Am I right?
Take a moment to refresh yourself and go again.
Oh.
Oh!
Let's think a little bit about which powers we can confidently, because she probably, I mean, we can safely say she's interpretive, though, right? I mean, like.
What
Yeah, I
about
think so.
Nyy'zai?
That's interesting. Neither of the Nyy'zais. Okay, so.
The next most likely would be Nyy'zai, but.
What about
Well,
Vyy'xai?
let's look at her. What do you think?
But yeah, we need to look at it again.
What about Xyy'nai? We haven't really played around with that.
No,
Oh,
that's true.
Yeah, we didn't mention that.
Xyy'nai,
We really haven't played much around with either of the Nez towers.
We probably, yeah.
It could. I don't think Xyy'nai so much, but I think Xyy'nai deserves a shot, at least a little bit, and then Nyy'zai as well, maybe. I know there are some Nyy'zai that do voice acting. I know that there's quite a few, but females I'm not so sure.
Okay.
Okay, that was cool though. I like that.
Major quasi-death here.
This is a really tough situation. Because like those are like the only two we actually considered.
Yeah. She does have good emoting and values-based use.
Yeah, I'm still leaning on values-based.
Values-based.
I wonder.
Wow.
You guys have a guess? You fried.
Well, I'm gonna go off on a whim, and I'm going to guess Nyy'zai. But that could easily be wrong.
I like that. I like that guess of yours. I think the Xy definitely. I think seems to be.
I'm saying the Xy for sure. I think. But
I think I like the Xy. I feel like Nyy'zai. That's kind of like where I'm going, but I respect the Nyy'zai. I respect the Xai'nyy as well as possible guesses as well, but I'm not 100% sure. I just think Nyy'zai seems to be the best one to go with. It's very quiet though.
Yeah, anyone else?
Our Nez towers seem to be very, very quiet.
Yeah, what's going on there? Xyy'nai and Demas?
And Mitchell?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of just processing.
I'm still trying to settle on something.
Take the Nyy'zai out of the equation. I'm a little lost right now.
I like
I would
this.
lean
I
towards,
love this.
long face.
I would lean towards Xyy'nai. I would lean towards Xyy'nai if not.
That was the first thing I noticed, actually. Better.
yeah, she does have kind of like a long face.
She kind of does.
You're the billowy gesturing.
I mean, like when I was thinking Nyy'zai, what was throwing me off, or what I felt was like she looked a little more subjective. That's sort of why I felt what started the Nyy'zai route. So,
But she's not just a voice actor. She's an actress. Played in Bold and Beautiful.
I think either the Nyy'zai seem like good choices.
Well, she's played in The Bold and the Beautiful, and one thing is that there's been a lot of like ad serves with really good G.
Yeah.
In Bold and Beautiful, apparently. Soap operas.
Yeah.
Do
you think so?
Before. Doesn't mean she is.
Yeah.
Because there are other mojos in there for sure, but there's a higher concentration, so this may be something to look at.
So we're thinking now.
what do Demas and Xyy'nai, what do you guys think?
Xylene said Xyy'nai. I think I might lean Xyy'nai too.
Xyy'nai.
I'm gonna say
I like
either Xyy'nai or Nyy'zai.
Xyy'nai, Nyy'zai.
As a secondary guess, I'd probably throw in Nyy'zai.
Yeah.
So everyone has their guess?
Yeah, Mitchell. Did you say one?
Yeah, I'll probably go with Xyy'nai for my first guess. I'm not really sure about the second one, to be honest.
You don't have to have a second guess. If you want it.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not sure. I'm really not super confident in that.
Okay. Severin's gone. Starglow, you go?
I
I wouldn't guess. I didn't have to.
I wouldn't guess at this point either, except because
It's fine.
it really threw me to take the
She's tough.
ninjas out.
She's tough.
She's very tough. She's a tough one for sure. Okay, I'm going to give it to you all. She is a Xyy'nai
Nice.
Nice.
Shiny.
with
Okay.
a very good game. She has a really good game. Her forward leaning threw me for a bit.
So
But-
it was kind of a combination between Nyy'zai and Nyy'zai. Sort of
Yeah,
that
I will-
sub-ramen.
But two things you guys noted. You did notice something earlier, but you didn't go in more on it. One is that her gesturing, when she extends, she leans away from her gesturing a lot.
Yeah.
The other one is, the thing you mentioned, Starglow, is actually an adaptive maneuver that is favored by the towers. Both Xyy'nai and Demas do it, which is pointing with the palm up. That's a yin way.
That's a tower cue.
It's a tower cue, and this kind of whipping, both Xyy'nai do, they kind of whip their point, and it's underhand at the end. Like that.
That's the tower cue. I have a new tower cue.
Indeed.
Yay.
Yeah, that's so weird for me, like to point that way.
It is. So.
The tower cues like.
But she was tough because she was leaning forward a lot, and her articulation was excellent.
See, I
Yeah,
can do
really
that,
difficult.
but it feels very uncomfortable for me. It's not my native way.
What were you saying, Mitchell? Are you saying that's from natural, Mitchell?
Yeah, no, I was like trying to mimic tower cues, and it's like I've always found like they're the most fun. Like they're just so the farthest away from the yinness.
See, I can do it. It just as I look.
I can do it. It's just so not how I would point.
I look stupid
was-
doing
Naturally
it.
have an
Yeah.
instinct to like speak my own.
I was really seeing like the values based and then going up through the eyes, and I was thinking Xyy'nai because she has such good game. She was like really articulate.
Very good game.
Good.
What?
Yeah.
Very
And
elegant.
she takes a very proactive stance in her interviews, which is really cool to see, but not so common with Tower.
Yeah.
Well, the main two things I was seeing was the total values base and the subjectivity. And so,
Yeah.
in my mind,
I was between the sub-ROMs at first. I was between the sub-ROMs and Nyy'zai. Those three subjective interpreters, not the Xai'nyy, but the other three subjective interpreters is where I started. And I was actually thinking Nyy'alpha at first. But I was like, something's not right. And I was like, oh, it's Xai'nyy.
Yeah.
Yeah. She doesn't seem like. She seems more like not like trying to move the dynamics. She seems more like just reactionary in a way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but she definitely has like a gameness to
Yes.
us, which is cool.
she's really good at the game. So
And she came,
Well-
she came, which Towers have to do the most of all the mojos. She came with energy to spend. She knew that she needed to be up, and she came up and stayed up.
and she can roll her Xai through her Xi like I can't do.
CB, yeah.
She rolls her Xai through her Xi, and it looks like Xi.
Xai
Well, it's
through
very
her
warm. It's very, her Z, I know what she means though. It's very warm articulation because of the Xai in it, but actually it's deadpan. When she tosses her head forward, two things: it's deadpan, and she tends to crumple her head a little bit to the left or do other things with her shoulders and neck to
Yeah.
soften the jut. Notice when she pulls back. When she pulls back quick and does these big like big Xai things. And
Yes, you're
She kind of
absolutely
reminds me a
right.
little bit of Jenna Malone one here, and also a young Melanie Griffith before she had any work done.
Mm.
They also both have quite a bit of a gameness to them when they come out. They have good Nyi and Z.
But it's that rolling of the Xai through the Z that is a game that I don't naturally have, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
No, she had a really cool game to observe. Excellent. Okay, so that was a nice little treat for the end there. Do we have anything before we sign off? No. Okay. That was a great session. And next week we'll probably do maybe some more accuracies. I'm not sure, but I'll probably not do a hint this time. I'll kind of play around doing that periodically. But
Yeah.
I'll take a break from this week.
Yeah, you might.
Let's have
Thanks,
some
Coach.
variety.
I know I'm the only one that didn't like that, but oh my goodness.
No, it's good. No, I do think.
I actually started to see the downsides after I got like a bunch of them wrong. Like I
Maybe
started to know,
Coach-
if I had been more open on this one, you know. So,
I think that's. Go ahead. You're saying.
I just want to say because I feel like we've been doing quite a bit of like the 7, 8, 9 in that range. Maybe we can try going a little bit lower in the next
Yeah.
one.
That's
No
what I was
problem.
thinking.
Good.
I would love to do the scorpions because I've been watching the show, and so I'd love to be able to do the mojos while I watch.
Okay, well, I can see if I can do that. Maybe throw in another actress or two or something to make maybe like a 5 or 6 quiz. Sound good?
Sure. That sounds good.
Cool.
Okay, cool. I'll do a handful, and I'll get scorpions in there.
Thanks, Ademus.
Yeah,
Have a great night, everybody. And look for that quiz to come out tomorrow.
Yeah.
It was fun. Have a good night, everyone.
No, I'll see most of you tomorrow. Totally.
I have no idea.